everybody. I'm Tracy Swedlow, and this is Televisionation, the Swedlow Show. And I am really excited to welcome the one and only Mandy Silverman, who is also known as Mandylicious on Instagram. And she's definitely one of the influencers that I follow, and thousands of other people do. And I was really excited to bring her to you because she has, I think, really done a fantastic job of turning her passion into a video business and created a community. And I wanted to find out more about that. So welcome to the Swedlow Show, Mandy.
Thank you so much for having me. This is so exciting.
You've been doing this for years. You've created, I think, over 500 recipes of challah. That's what you do. You are passionate about challah. And if anybody's out there who doesn't know what challah is, which is spelled Challah, it is bread that's very traditional for the Jewish community. I would say more so Eastern European, I think, challah.
I feel like challah is pretty ubiquitous. The way that the recipe for challah sometimes changes depending where your lineage comes from. Like Sephardi Jews, a lot of them don't have like any sugar or anything like that in their challahs. I know people who don't really have any fat. Like there's different rules that people have for challah, but in general, it's definitely something that most Jewish people have encountered at some, like even if they're not observant, they've probably seen it at like a bar, bat mitzvah, or a wedding, let alone like the Sabbath table, which is where it is every week, most for people who do observe the Sabbath. And also people who aren't even Jewish are familiar with it because it makes really great French toast. So.
I was watching the British baking show, and I think they had one segment where they tried to make challah, and I don't think they did.
No, it wasn't. They tried going into other cultures, and I don't think that was their strong suit. So,
they tried a babka. They tried a babka once too, I think.
It's okay. It's good. They have to try. You have to start somewhere.
So it's certainly something that I look forward to. I do bake challah every Friday night. And by the way, I use your recipe.
Thank you.
And I've experimented with many other ones, but I use yours. So, but the reason we're here is because you turned all of this into, a community full of people who watch your videos all the time. So let's hear a little bit about your background and why you chose to do this. I certainly picked up baking challah a lot during the pandemic, but you've been doing this way before then, I think. Mm-hmm. How did you get started baking challah, and or why did you turn to Instagram to deliver your passion?
No, it's like I've been doing Mandylicious for 10 and a half years, and I always like to say that 11 and a half years ago, I didn't know how to make challah at all, because challah, like we mentioned, people have a very particular way about how they think it should be and how it should look and how it should taste. And a lot of it is because it's so tied into our roots from our family. Like, if my challah doesn't look like my bubby's challah, then I've made a mistake. And so that's one layer of stress. And then there's it's a lot of pressure, because it's not just like a sandwich bread. It's culture and tying things together. And there's varying reasons on why it's braided, but it is a special bread. And people sometimes, when something has got that much buildup behind it, they tend to let me try bagels first. So I actually never tried challah.
Those aren't easy either.
No,
they're not easy.
No, anything with yeast is pretty petrifying. I was not a big yeast person until I am located a little south of Boston in Sharon, Massachusetts, but I grew up in St. Louis, Missouri. And I talk to my mother, who's still in St. Louis, every single day. And it was around Rosh Hashanah, and she called me, and said that she went to someone's house for Rosh Hashanah, and the woman served challah, and she cut the challah, and there was a layer of honey that oozed out from like the bottom of and it sounded really cool. She said,
wow.
How do you do this? And the woman's like, you know what? I actually don't share my recipe. I don't share my technique, and I don't share it with anyone. And that's just how it is. Like I've learned now at this point that some people are very private for their recipes. This woman in particular is very private with her recipe, and that's fine. But my mom was like, I wonder how she did it. And I'm like, you know what, mommy? I'm going to solve this mystery for you. In my brain, I'm like, oh no, I'll just read some articles. I'm going to find some cookbooks and I will figure out how to do it. So mind you, I never made challah before, let alone stuffed it. So first I had to make the challah, and I made every mistake. It's not like cookies where you can like whip up a batch and like half hour later be like, oh no, I forgot, the sugar. It's like you have to let the dough rise, and you don't even know if it doesn't rise, and it's like hours and hours, and then you realize.
I think my first attempts at making challah, it was like flat. It didn't work. You do have to practice a few times to get with and find the right recipe, like yours. Anyway, go ahead.
Right. No, it's so true, because it wasn't like even 11, 12 years ago, it wasn't like you could message people and ask them questions about how like something's not working or whatever. So it was just so much like researching and reading and just messing it up. I always tell people I've never failed more at anything than I did at making challah. I messed up and it was horrible. But then I finally figured out like the kinds of yeast that would be helpful. And I figured out the kind of amounts that would be good and the kind of flours that were right. And then I tried to figure out how to stuff it. And honey is very hard to stuff. And it overflowed and it burnt and it melted in. And it got to the point where after the series of failures, just making challah itself, and then failing for stuffing the challah itself, that I'm like it tore me up. Like I've never failed. Like it was so much that I couldn't handle it, that I'm like, you know what? I'm going to just give up on honey for a minute and let me see if I can stuff challah with something else. And I stuffed it, I think, with salami, because I was like, oh, a salami sandwich. And then I gave
You just did a salami video.
Oh yes, it's big. Salami challah is very popular now, let me tell you.
But back my God, in the day, that looks so good. That looks so good.
It's amazing. So I did salami and I started doing and that was great, and it worked, and I was so happy because everyone was like, oh my gosh, I've never seen anything like it. And I was like, ooh. And then I made cookie dough and caramelized onion and brisket. I started doing them for special occasions for my friends. I have a friend who loves Indian food. So for her birthday, I made her a challah naan, which is Indian spiced potato stuffed challah. I have a friend. Yeah, I have a friend who likes spicy things, so I made him a jalapeno challah. And just all these different inspirations were from my friends and what they enjoyed and how I can incorporate things in challah, and learning what worked well with challah and what didn't work well with challah. And it got to the point where after I'd done it for 6 or 9 months, someone suggested that I start a business. And I was very wary of it, because doing something as a business is very different than doing something because you love someone and you want to make them happy. Let me do this for you because I love you, versus you're going to pay me money and I'm going to do this for you. But my husband and I have a very business-minded friends, I call them, were very encouraging. I said, okay, I'll try it for 1 month. I'll do 15 challahs. And I did it and it went well. So that was great. And then it started but that was all just local within the town of Sharon. I had a turkey-shaped challah for the Thanksgiving that went viral, and that helped boost my business more. But it was remember that? It was once every 5,000 years or something. It's going to be Thanksgiving and Hanukkah or the same day.
That's right. I remember that.
So that was the first year I did my business, and I took this horrible picture of a turkey-shaped challah. Challah had a pumpkin tummy and a chocolate chip eye, and there was a sprinkled beak and a sprinkled wattle. It was very cute, but so that helped give me a little bit of a boost. It wasn't until a year later. So I started in November or October of 2013. So it was October of 2014. Or November, I guess, that my friend's daughter, who was 11 at the time, she's like, you really should go on Instagram because there's all these pictures there and your pictures are so cool. And I was like, great, you go ahead and do that for me, because I didn't know anything. I was like, fix the Instagram for me, make it work, because I don't know how it does things. But so she put me on Instagram, and it was for my business, right? So I was hoping to connect with local homes that needed challah for the Sabbath. But in the end, because Instagram's pull is so global, I was mostly getting questions because my account was all challah. Like back then, there was not any all challah accounts, and certainly not that had like fun flavors. And they were all asking me questions from all over people that I could never sell a challah to because they were like in, Peru, or they were in Australia, or California. But they were asking me questions about what's going on when they make their challah. And the craziest thing was that every question they had, every mistake that they had ever made, I had already made. So I knew every answer. At some point, I guess making all those errors and things helped me be able to explain things to people in a way that like anyone can understand versus like a classically trained chef or someone who's been doing it for so long or who's done it correctly the first time. Because I was so bad at it, really good at helping people answer questions.
Now, the one tip you gave has really helped, which is rolling out the dough braids, before the second rise, so that they don't meld together. That is very important because
Yes,
I've had that problem. But anyway, go ahead. So, at what point did it become less pictures and more video? Because you're pretty much video now all the time, and I know Instagram is very much favoring. Their algorithm is favoring video now.
yes,
So I'm kind of curious about what happened, how your business changed when you put video, when you brought more of your personality into it. It wasn't so static. How did that help you? How did it grow the community? What did it do to your business?
No, that's a really excellent point, because for a very long time, it was just pictures, and then Instagram offered stories, and I would record the stories and save them to my highlights, and that's where people would get recipes from. But there was no way to like incorporate them really into your feed except for like a short little video. But as Reels became more of a thing, and Instagram, you're right, does show Reels more, it became very encouraging. Like, all right, if I work, because I work making a new recipe or making video or photos takes hours. It doesn't take like 10 seconds. It takes hours and hours. And then if Instagram shows it, great job, your work's been paid off. But Instagram doesn't show it, it's like, oh, so you definitely want to work for things that you have a higher hope of reaching a broader audience. So Reels, that encouraged me to try different things and learning. You're right that people aren't just going to want to see, thankfully, a lot of my recipes have a lot of that personality in it. You don't see things like, nothing for me is too serious. Nothing for me ever says it is anything too complicated, or if it is complicated, I call it out and I alert people. I'm like, this is going to be a little bit more of a pain in the petunia. So if it's hard for you, don't worry. Here's an easier option if you don't feel like doing it. Try to keep everything very approachable is what I call it. Everything should be for people who've never even seen a challah before, that they should be able to figure it out and not feel bad about themselves, because that's the last thing I want. So those videos helped break it down into steps more, and also helped people learn things a little bit better, because sometimes seeing it step by step. And it also helped people take classes, because I started doing classes before the pandemic, and then really as pandemic happened, people learned that Zoom is something that really can be effective. And that really opened up the world for me, because I started doing classes, virtual classes globally. So that was also, so all my video practicing, like the first time we ever did a video from like the kitchen, I have like a picture of it. It's like, there's like a random arm, and all my cameras are like on boxes of Monopoly and Operation, every sort of thing we had to like get the camera at the angle, because we didn't know what we were doing. But now we have like overhead lights and 3 cameras. It's a big deal. So the doing the Reels also show that there's all these fun options for classes and things like that. So that helped a lot in growing people's interest, because sometimes seeing a picture, you don't know how you got from a bowl of dough to caramelized onion stuffed challah, you know what I'm saying? So those are different. And the video helps people see that. And then also it helps grow the like classes, because now I have a website that's full of classes that people can take whenever they like and learn things, and are presented in a way that's very user friendly, but also completely fun and unique recipes, which is also very important to me, because people are inspired when they connect with an ingredient that they see there. So even if they never made challah before, they see a red velvet cake challah and they're like, oh, well, maybe I'll try that one out for size.
Oh, but I want to go backwards just slightly, because you mentioned you had 3 cameras and overhead lights. So it sounds almost like you've turned your kitchen into a studio kitchen, kind of like Julia, or whatever her last name was. Julia, I've forgotten her
Dial.
last name suddenly. Anyway, you know who I'm talking about. And or Martha Stewart or any of these people where this has become a whole lifestyle and a business. And is this something that you do every day, or is this something that you do once a week when you shoot it and then it takes the whole week to produce? I mean, what's the effort here? How much
So
effort goes into this? Do you have another editor, or do you do all this yourself?
it's just me. A lot of people you see, like, they're beautiful, very fancy videos that are like perfect. And for a long time, I was like, oh man, I wish I was going to be like all these perfect. And I'm like, no, my whole business is based on being real with people. And like, I try, my lighting is better and my backgrounds are better. But it's not perfect and it is just me. And usually what will happen is I'll wake up, like I make a big batch of dough for the whole week. And as I have ideas, then I'll make the videos that go with their ideas. And usually once I have the ideas, they're posted within a week or two of having it. Instagram no longer rewards for daily posting. Like some people, like it used to, like if you post every day, it'll be like, you're better off, I find, if you only post a few times a week. For some reason, I don't know why, but that's how Instagram is working right now. So I only post a few times a week. And it's usually recipes or tips and tricks, like something like today. I'm going to, after we're done, I'm going to tape a video of talking about how to store your challah dough in the refrigerator. It's one of those little things that people don't think about, but they'll put their dough in the refrigerator in a bowl, and they'll come out, it'll be all crusty, or they don't understand how it rises. So those are all things that, like little videos like that are helpful.
I'm going to talk about some of the more popular videos in a minute here, but I also wanted to point out that you do have a variety of things you offer. You are offering these videos. I don't know if you're doing branded advertising relationships with other. I don't think you're doing that, but I could be wrong.
No, I do very rarely do it because it's
very rarely, right?
Any brand that is out, it has to be like, I'm very picky. So
right. I think, didn't you do something with sprinkles or something?
Oh, well, I sometimes will tag like Wilton's. Wilton's will send me free things, and if I'm able to utilize them in a file, I'll always tag them. But paid partnerships are different than me just being like, "Hey, Wilton's, I love you," and then Wilton's like, "Here, have a bunch of free sprinkles," which is fine.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't mind that myself. But anyway, but I know you, like you said, you offer classes. You have on-demand classes that are already there that you can sort of sample, and then you have private one-on-ones that you're willing to do for people. And I have a feeling that do you do also Zooms where people would hire you to do to an entire community, or perhaps to a synagogue, or to other groups or organizations? Is that something that you do as well?
Yeah, so I do both Zoom and in-person classes. So Zoom classes, you're right, they're like a lot of for synagogues or sisterhoods, or even like corporations, like I've done for TikTok and Uber and the Hallmark Channel, Google. I've done like for businesses, they want to do something fun for their employees. Sometimes it's for Jewish Heritage Month. Sometimes it's because they're learning about other cultures, or just like I did one for the United Nations thing. And it was so cool because everyone in the window was from a different country and they never heard of Kala before. And that was magical. It was like, what a great opportunity and how cool Zoom can be. So I do that frequently. Those are the probably easiest for people to schedule. But then I also do in-person classes, and I'll fly to a certain class. Like next week, we're going to West Palm Beach. So we're going to do a class there on apple-shaped challah. So that'll be really fun.
That'll be amazing.
Yeah,
I know that, yeah, I believe you are also about to do a cookbook, correct?
Yes, I did. I just signed with the publisher. Yeah.
That's very exciting. What's the name of the publisher?
It's Rage. She's at Quattro Publishing. So she's really
What have you ever considered doing your own TV channel, like on a connected TV? What do you think about that?
I feel the same. Everything. I wanted, I feel like I would love to do it, but just so writing a cookbook seemed very overwhelming to me. But then it happened to be that one of my followers is a literary agent, and she sent me a note. She's like, "Let me help you write a cookbook. Let me figure out, and I'll be able to help you figure out what publishers might be interested in. And then we can talk to editors and you can see what's a good fit for you." And I was like, yes. because I've been thinking about it for a while, but I just didn't know how to eat the elephant. That's what my husband says. How do you eat an elephant? It's like one bite at a time. But I never knew which way to start doing it. So that was helpful. So I feel like the same thing with like a TV sort of channel. I probably need like someone to help me step by step, because it's not like, if you're a person and you need help, that's what I'm there for. If you need a one-on-one private Zoom class, I'm here for you. But a TV thing like that, like, I know it's be great for my brand and for the challah, but I need
the
help.
audience. The audience that's watching you right now are exactly the people who could make that happen. Well, I don't know if they'll want to, but I would watch it. But I mean, there's a lot of interest and passion, I think, in food influencers, which is why I was excited to talk to you about this, because I think that's an evergreen content, right?
Yeah.
And you have, like, I think over 500 recipes. Some of these recipes, I want to go over some of the more popular ones, because sometimes it seems like you'll get like 500 likes here and there, but then sometimes, like, I think Snickerdoodle challah or something would get like 29,000 likes.
Yeah. Or
You know,
hundreds of thousands.
or
It
there was
depends.
brisket stuffed challah, cinnamon rolls was a huge hit, right? Fried pickle challah. Oh my God, I don't know why you went through that all those extra steps. Chocolate stuffed challah heart, I think, was a big hit. I wrote down a few, and then something that I really would love to do myself would be the beef Wellington one. Oh my God, that looked insane.
Yes.
But
So
I mean, why are some of these there's so many more, but some of these recipes do extremely well. Is this because it goes viral? Some other network gets hold of it? Is it because you think people just want brisket stuffed challah and it's just like huge? I think
it's
you did some Star Wars. What are those things called? The laser things.
lightsabers.
Those were
I mean, well, we'll keep talking.
lightsabers. I'm sorry, I'm a Star Trek fan, so I always get. Anyway, but why are some of these things doing so well, and then other ones are very good? I mean, if I got 500 or whatever likes on my paintings, which you can find on Instagram, by the way, out there, universe, I would be pretty thrilled. So anyway, why do some things do extremely well?
So there's a few pieces. Because if I knew the answer, then every reel I had would have hundreds of thousands of likes and millions of views. But
Yeah.
a lot of it is right away if Instagram's going to pick it up and help that get seen a lot. And some videos and recipes that I have, I'm like, this is the most beautiful reel. This is the coolest recipe. This photo is perfection. I don't understand why it's not getting seen, and that's just how it is. And sometimes, it's also how many people share it or like it. I always tell people, like, if you want to support creators like myself, I don't get paid to do anything. If you buy a class or whatever, then I get paid. But I could work 30 hours on a recipe and I will make $0 from that. So all you have to do is push that like button or share it or comment in it. And that will help the things go on. It's literally the easiest thing you can do, but that's a really big, like a reward, every time for me anyways, it's someone likes it. So even if more people will like it, then that will do it if they see it. And then also if it's shared a lot, then sometimes that helps. So a really good reel, if it has like a recipe like directly in it that's intriguing or something unusual, and it gets shared a lot, then that helps. Or often, even if it's controversial, that also helps a reel go viral. So like the fried pickle challah. Some people were like obsessed with it. Like pickle company sent me pickles. Like it's really cool because I did it for Hanukkah. So on Hanukkah, you fry things. So
Yeah.
you fry a donut. Why couldn't you fry a challah? I thought so. And then fried pickles became like, they were really cool. And I love fried pickles. So I was like, let me see if I can do a
do
pickle
too.
plate for challah. So, and then I fried it. And I think that people, like, that was so crazy that people were like, that got shared and viewed a lot just because it was so crazy. And that one actually has a recipe tied to it. And then there's something like, where like I have a confetti challah, a funfetti with sprinkles, and that's just visually awesome. When I pour a third cup of sprinkles onto dough, it's not even like that particular video that gets viewed a lot. That one was taped like before I even had likes, and the quality is not good, but people love that video. And just because it's like very cool and something that it's easy, right? Not easy, but like attainable. They're like, oh, this is something that's beautiful. It's something that's different. It's something that's fun.
Can do it. It makes, yeah, like they've, well, I also watched one that looked insanely fattening, which was the Hamantaschen, a one with Snickers bars and Payday, and I don't know what was in that. It wasn't even challah, it was Hamantaschen,
Yeah.
but that, yeah, I don't know, that that's insane. But so to what extent do you think that I mean, this has become your main business? I'm not sure if you were doing anything before, but and this is a, I would say, I don't know, successful or not. I mean, it doesn't matter. It's like you've become a well-known creator in the community. Every once in a while, I'll hear somebody say, "Oh my God, you have to go see this channel on Instagram, Mandylicious," and it just keeps popping up. Do you know why? Do you feel is it a much wider community than just the Jewish community that's taking an interest? Are you able to see the demographics of people who are coming to you?
I can't, they don't, first of all, the demographics are slightly skewed because a lot of people opt to not share their location or their age or whatever. So I have a certain amount that I can tell from an Instagram, and that's assuming it's truthful. I just know from talking to people that I have a lot of followers that aren't necessarily Jewish, and I and that's makes me happy because that's how I made my channel. I wanted it to be welcoming for everyone, and a lot of I all like Jewish content creators, and I love following them. But a lot of them, if you're not Jewish or you're not religious, it's you sort of don't understand what's going on. It's polarizing. So anytime I try and talk about a religious holiday or something like that you might not be familiar with, I talk about it a little bit to help everyone understand. But I also make it very clear that you do not have to be Jewish to like challah. And a lot of people will message me and they'll say, Mandy, I'm not Jewish. Can I make challah? I'm like, of course you can make challah. It's delicious. You should make challah. Why wouldn't you? And then there's also cool cultural things like some other countries. Like I'll make challahs that have different like I said, like the challah naan or other flavors like that pull from other forms of cuisine, and then people from those countries see those recipes and then start thinking the ingredients that they could add, that they could make to turn the challah to be their own. Because a very popular comment I get was that they weren't making challah, they weren't doing it, and then they saw a recipe like the sprinkle one or the brisket one, and they're like, oh, like you think challah has to be a certain way forever, and then you see someone who's like, it doesn't have to be that way, and then their own creativity, starts to light up, and that's wonderful when I get those messages about people that were too scared to do it before, but now they do and they like to experiment with it. I love when people will say that one of my friends is Jewish and they're coming over and I'd love to make them a challah. Can you help me? Or I think this looks delicious. Can you teach me about it? It's like the biggest form of success to me is that my audience is a blend of not just Jewish people, but people who just love, I call them carb enthusiasts. Like to make
Yeah,
fun
and
of
you're chief carbologist as well, of
yeah.
course. I mean, it's so fascinating when everybody's so wary of carbs, but yet everybody loves carbs, and they all love challah. I mean, my daughter can't function without challah. On Friday night, she has to have it. Actually, one of the first experiments I ever did before I really started using your recipe was I think I want to say my Jewish learning put out like a make challah in a Ziploc bag.
Yes.
I did that.
A lot
And
of
I was
people.
doing that for a while. But anyway, couple other questions. I think we've definitely reached our time almost, but why are you not on YouTube? Why stay on Instagram?
A lot of it, like I said before, is just because it's unknown and it's like a step like that I have to do it. And a lot of it is part of me likes having the community that I have built. A lot of influencers you see, like, I don't want to say like we all work hard in different ways, but like they work hard to make, like they do brand deals or they try and get, shout outs from popular other content creators and things like that, or talk to these people, or like they hustle in a different way than I want to hustle. And I always say this is how I feel comfortable doing it. I'm building this, and I could have built something different, if I was like going crazy and contacting all these people and doing partnerships like this, I could have built something like this, or I built this. And I'm so proud of it because it's something that I did by myself. Like I did with all of you, but it was something that I thought I built it in a way that is very much me. So I'm sure one day someone will help me figure out the whole YouTube channel thing. But when I do that, I'm going to want to make sure it's in a way that I feel comfortable doing it in a way that's not outside of what's important to me, if that makes sense.
And, Instagram does offer the ability to charge for subscriptions. Mm-hmm. But I don't think you're doing that. Is that correct?
No, I don't, because I don't charge. A lot of my recipes are just free on my page. There's definitely ways that I can be making money. And in fact, I make a lot more money with the classes than I do. I still have my bakery out of my home in Sharon, Massachusetts, and I do bake once a month. I have 4 ovens here, trying to do all that. So I can make more in an hour from a class than I do in a month from baking challahs. But I like to, if I start charging for every single thing that I put on my page, then it would also sort of that's also not what I want. I want people to I could charge for every new recipe I put out, and that would be fine. People would do it. But what I've done is that I've got certain recipes that are class that you only get if you purchase the class, and certain tutorials and methods like that. And then there's other recipes that are available on Instagram. I don't have a blog or anything like that. So you really do have to have a vested interest. And then now I've got this exciting cookbook. So hopefully that'll have a good place for people to look at the recipes also.
Well, I feel like I would really love a nice pop-up in San Francisco.
Yeah.
The challah market has been cornered by Irving's. I don't know if you know about Irving, or I don't know, Semi-Freddy. So we kind of need a new competitor in the challah market here.
Yes, that'd be cool.
So come on, I think you'd be a huge hit. Come on out sometime if you're doing the tour with your cookbook or something, and do a nice challah pop-up. I think, huge hit. Anyway, I really appreciate your spending some time with me. Everybody, please go check out her Instagram channel, Mandylicious. Of course, I've already put this up on the screen with lots of visuals.
Mandylicious challah. It's a very long name.
And you and your husband just seem like the nicest couple ever. I'm glad he's so supportive of what you're doing. It's really, really sweet to see. And Good Yantiv, I guess, right? That's whatever. Rosh Hashanah is coming up.
I know it's coming up.
That's for Yom Kippur. No,
Good Yantiv is for all the non-Shabbat things.
Chag Sameach, Chag Sameach. And I think I'm going to try a round challah or something.
There's lots of tutorials on my page, and there's a class on it now. The Rosh Hashanah rounds is a great class where you're learning how to make round challahs and fun flavors.
Well, Rosh Hashanah is coming up soon, everybody, so make sure you go to Instagram. All right, thank you so much, Mandy. I really appreciate your spending some time with me, and wishing you much more success ahead.
Thank you so much.
Mazel tov.
Thanks.
Okay, I'm Tracy Swedlow, of course. This is the Swedlow Show. I love talking to people who are as passionate as you are, who are influencers or creators. So contact me if you'd like to participate. Thank you so much.